So more of the same. There's a nice name, Istahgoshti. It's a phrase that Prabhupada gave us, so we're using it. Maybe they should go to some place besides just outside the door, like far away. Okay. Well, here's some questions. And is Anantashesh here? He's gone. Oh. See if he can answer a text message or something like that, because I'd like to respond. Maybe his wife can have her phone on or something. So yesterday afternoon, 4 o'clock, in the youth gathering, this little bowl was what they had them put their questions in, and so this is for this class also. Here's a 5-year-old's question, right on top. Why did Hiranyakashipu want to kill Nrsingadev? Why did Hiranyakashipu want to kill Nrsingadev? Well, it's not exactly that he wanted to kill Nrsingadev, he wanted to kill his son. And Nrsingadev came and protected his son from his father. But there are other demons that wanted to kill the personality of Godhead specifically. And because they're demons. Demons don't mind having anyone as an enemy. Anyone that's not with them is an enemy. So that's how a demon lives. This is a how-to question. What is that one thing? How can I please you the most? What's that one thing that pleases me the most? Become Krishna conscious. You know, that has some subparts to it, but that's it. That's the target. Put that in your GPS and work on it. Bhagavad Gita 6.35, Krishna speaks about abhyasa and vairagya. When mind is sattvic, it is more capable of remaining fixed in practice and dispassion. But this requires predominance of sattva guna. How much important is the need to be given to cultivation of sattva? What's needed is the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, because without Krishna consciousness, sattva is very flimsy. And conversely, with Krishna consciousness, sattva is naturally accomplished by Krishna consciousness mode of goodness is naturally accomplished. Even if one is Arjuna or a Kshatriya by disposition and by spirit, by character, by training, still guided by Shastra, abiding by principles of Dharma, even one's nature may be administrative or a warrior, but governed by Shastra, and then by Brahmanas who have that Brahminical quality or the mode of goodness quality. So governed by those that have the mode of goodness quality and Krishna himself in Scripture. So it's not, can something be done with the children outside? Somebody that knows how to help children find a quieter place to go? How much importance needs to be placed on cultivation of sattva? Cultivation of Krishna consciousness. And subset is sattva. Is it true that deeply ingrained habits cannot be removed without self-discipline? How you can remove deeply ingrained habits without self-discipline? What is self-discipline? The same, putting on a straitjacket is self-discipline, but that can't endure because it's very unnatural. So bhakti is the solution, not merely self-restraint. Self-restraint is a subset of bhakti. Self-restraint without bhakti is artificial. It's not enduring. Okay, here's nice. We begin chanting and engaging in other services, gradually growing in our spiritual practice. Very good. However, there are times when we stop chanting because it feels like we are forcing ourselves to complete a certain number of rounds. And the quality of our chanting suffers as a result. We give up. But eventually we start again. Is Krishna still merciful if we step away from bhakti, but later return and start over? Does the sun stop shining if it becomes nighttime or cloudy sky or circumstantially the sun is not shining? The sun is always shining. Krishna is always merciful by his very nature. And we can't forget Krishna without the sanction of Krishna. That's stated in Bhagavad Gita. Forgetfulness comes from Krishna. Remembrance comes from Krishna. Everything comes from the source of everything. So Krishna is kind always. So he doesn't withdraw his kindness because we turn our back. We'll see shadow instead of him if we turn our back. It was so inspiring to hear about Narada Muni's journey. Could you please explain how he manages to reach or assist Krishna by reaching at the right time, place? So, Narada Muni is a jiva. So before he was Narada Muni, he was something else, and before that he was something else. We heard that Friday evening. And then he became Narada Muni, or he became qualified to become Narada Muni. So when one becomes qualified, like Narada Muni had become qualified, then such a person, their life is directed by Krishna. So when Krishna indicates, however Krishna indicates to such a devotee to show up at a certain place at a certain time and say a certain thing and do a certain set of activities, that's conducted by the spiritual potency of Krishna. So that's how Narada works. He's a Shaktivesh avatar. He's directed by and under the jurisdiction of the internal potency. He's just like our topic on nimitta matram. As Arjuna is such a devotee, now how did Arjuna become opposed to Krishna? By inspiration from Krishna. That's how it happened. Krishna inspired him to say no, so that Krishna could speak Bhagavad Gita for our benefit. But always he's a yes man, in the good sense, in the transcendentally good sense. So Narada Muni is moved by that also. He does whatever he does, including cursing. I mean, Narada Muni doesn't curse, but he cursed. Nalaku Veramani Griva, inspired by Krishna to give us a nice chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam to learn from, to teach us. Someone's asking, how can newer devotees help with presentation? Find an experienced devotee and volunteer your help to the experienced devotee and get trained up. And they may say, no thanks, but they may say, thanks. And then you have some service, and then some training. By the handwriting, this looks like a younger person. My question is, why do sages and maharajas wear orange? I hope you don't have something against orange. Why do householders wear white instead of orange? Or wear some other color, wear white instead of some other color? Some traditions, they wear whatever the other color is. In ISKCON in the early days, it was yellow. Householders wore yellow. And then it became white. I mean, there's a tradition. Okay, what's behind the tradition? Why they wear saffron colored? I mean, somebody asked me, do you really dye your clothes with saffron? It's so expensive. I said, no, I go to a dye shop and in 1 hour I got it. And then there's different colors. I mean, look at some of the devotees. There's one. The color that Acharya Nishta is wearing is different than the color that I'm wearing. It's different than the color the next person is wearing. It's a different color. So it's not like a rule, but just it's a tradition indicating something renounced from the world. Is there any significance or reason for using bhakti creeper as an example? Why not bhakti plant or bhakti tree? They're good too. My son asked me this question. I had no answer. It's a very simple understanding is a creeper has a trait that it clings to something. Trees or plants may or may not, generally they don't, cling to something, but traditionally, conventionally, commonly, A creeper clings to something, and it grows by clinging to something, along with clinging to something. That's my understanding of why that particular bhakti creeper, bhakti lata. So what's that something that the creeper clings to? Krishna, or Guru Krishna, or the descending process of bhakti clings to. The others could also work. Bhakti plant, bhakti tree. Bhakti tree is a nice one. Okay. When pure devotees depart from the world, from previous lectures we have understood that we get the association of the departed devotees through their instructions. But how do we tell our heart the same thing? And how do we manage the emotional part, namely physical separation? You know, the feelings, the emotional part, feelings of separation are quite natural. And how do you manage that which is quite natural? You know, it's not necessarily that you're supposed to get over it. For example, Prabhupada said on some occasion, I never feel separation from my Guru Maharaj. The child that's in the back wants to talk. And whoever is taking care of the child that's in the back that wants to talk, please be kind upon the rest of us and do the needful. Thank you very much. I understand the enthusiasm of people that want to hear class, and so they bring their child into class because they want to hear class. But invariably, children don't want to be in class, they want to be children. It would be really nice if our community can get to the point where they listen to class in a separate place, but they don't put the rest of us through that kind of stuff. But it just keeps going on and going on. When will that day come? And it just keeps going. It went on during Prabhupada's time, and sometimes he would tolerate, and sometimes he would say something, and sometimes he would stop, and then it continues. It's not necessary. Just be respectful. Some temples have an arrangement that where there's children, the parents want to hear, fine. They go to a room where the parents can hear their child and the other babbling children in the room, and there's a speaker in the room, and they can hear the class along with the babbling children in the room. But we don't have to be subjected to that. Some thought maybe can happen sometimes in some places. Sorry about that. I lost track of what I was speaking. Yeah, the separation. As the person that wrote this indicates, but it's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's teaching. It's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's teaching that a Vaishnava never dies, forever they live in sound. And reality is reality. When physical presence is no longer available, or not just from the departure, even circumstantially, by the process of hearing. Here's a little explanation. It's not that the devotee that wrote this is going to be pacified, but it's something that Prabhupada said on the topic. I repeated this at least 20 times. Morning walk in Vrindavan, Prabhupada is coming back after, he would walk for about a half an hour, turn around and come back. And as he was coming back, we could hear the Kirtan. The devotees were at the gate, Vrindavan, to those of you who have been to Vrindavan. At the gate, there wasn't all those shops, all the clutter and all that stuff, it just wasn't there. It was just agricultural fields in both directions, in all directions. That was what was at that time. So we're coming back, and you hear the Kirtan, and then Prabhupada said very innocently, "Where are all the devotees?" And then someone very kindly said, "Prabhupada, they're at the gate waiting for you to come back, having Kirtan." And then he repeated himself, "Where are all the devotees?" So indicating that he was saying is devotees should be with their spiritual master. Then he said, when there's opportunity for vapu or physical association, one should take the opportunity. And then he repeated, and when there's vapu, there's also vani. And between the two, vani is more important. So even with vapu, vani is the most important. In the absence of vapu or physical association, there's vani. But when there's opportunity for physical association, take the physical association. And it's whether it's one spiritual master or a particular person that's important in your life, a sadhu of one kind or another. Circumstances may, on some occasions, facilitate coming together, and then circumstances turn, and then there's separation. And the feelings of separation are quite natural. So there's not get over it, but live with it. So how do you live with it? You go on hearing. You take deeper shelter of the hearing process. Thus, at least the opportunity is there from that hearing activity to feel the connection. Again, through sound, and it's not the same. It's not the same. I mean, those of you that didn't have Prabhupada's personal association won't know what it's like because you didn't have his personal association. You can hear his recordings, we can read his books, and you can hear from those that had that association and get a sense from those narrations what that was like, but it's not going to be part of your experience. So how do you deal with that? Just accept that's the reality and go on with the hearing from him, the recordings. And even during Prabhupada's presence, physical presence, much of what association he provided was through recordings. It was a rule, it was a well-known rule. Whatever he spoke should be recorded. And then there was the archives of all of his recordings. Whatever he spoke, and room conversations, morning walks, classes, the Bhaktivedanta purports, everything was recorded in categories because that was the means of giving his association. And in fact, the opportunity was provided at times of festivals, like Mayapur Festival, Mayapur Vrindavan Festival, and things like that, where Prabhupada would come, and devotees were encouraged to come from all over the world and get his association, and then scatter after it was over. But the rest of the time, we were instructed, don't write letters. you have questions or need guidance, go to your GBC or your temple president or some respected Prabhu, but don't write letters. It was like a very clear directive, because Prabhupada he can't take all that information and respond. Now, he responded very, very personally to a number of devotees, but the number of followers weren't in that same category of intimate associates of Prabhupada that had access to him, write letters and get responses. Some devotees wrote letters anyways, and in many cases there were responses. And there's a record of the letters and the responses, at least the responses. But he managed through sound. And on occasion, personal, and then the rest was through sound. And those of us that lived accordingly, we respected that's what he wanted, and that was the means. And then when there was an opportunity for morning walks or other opportunities in addition to classes and festivals to hear, some of us, I was one, you had at least the opportunity, the privilege, the facility to join morning walks and other things like that. But the rest of the time was service and separation. Because we were told, at least that's what he wanted. And it made sense. And there was contentment because the connection through sound was there. Recorded sound. And his books. So that's my response to this question. It's not the same as physical association, but connection is there through sound. What are some vanaprastha models that devotees can consider? Bhaktivinoda Thakur, how's that one? And he was a householder, but then after household life, he accepted vanaprastha life. Srila Prabhupada accepted vanaprastha life. You can look at our immediate acharyas and look for examples from our immediate acharyas. But vanaprastha life does not necessitate renunciation in the fullest sense, but rather detaching oneself from family affairs and focusing more on spiritual aspects of life. And commonly, the spiritual aspects of life include husband and wife together, participating in spiritual activities in holy places. No, it doesn't have to be in holy places. Here's a nice example. Nice example is Tamahar. Is Sri Vrindavan still here? Yeah, she's still here. So, Lash was a retirement village, among other things. I mean, since it's a Gurukul place, but it's also many devotees that are in their vanaprastha stage of life, they go to Galachua. So there's nice examples, contemporary examples. And just because he's a friend, Tamahar is one. His two daughters, they're grown up, they're married, they're well situated, so they're not involved in those affairs. There's relationships with the two girls, but their life is focused on what their life is focused on. And because of her health condition, she's not going anywhere. And because of her health condition, he's not going anywhere, because he takes care of her because of her health condition. But they're focused. So the model. The question was models of vanaprastha. It depends on situations and circumstances of life. But the principle is, although the model X, Y, and Z, the principle is the same. Dialing down the material into family and attachments and stuff and paraphernalia, and just dialing it down. And at the same time increasing the spiritual involvement aspects of life. So they're both doing that. And vanaprastha stage, husband, wife, are doing that in different ways, according to different circumstances. This question has been addressed, so I'll just read it, but say that the answer has been addressed. I have reached a plateau in my devotional service. Doing regular chanting and reading, that's the plateau. How can I exit this and strengthen my devotion? That's the how-to question. Find devotees that are not at a plateau, and they're continuing to soar and fly and go further and further, and associate with those prabhus, those sadhus. It's similar, not different, but similar. What are some ways to take intense shelter in the bhakti process, especially when one is going through difficulty after difficulty? I'm thinking of the question that, or not question, question and comment that Mukunda raised yesterday. Is Mukunda here? Yeah. It's related, it's similar. Difficulty after difficulty. So, I know some devotees that are going through difficulty after difficulty, and then waiting, that one is the next 10 difficulties, and it can be this, or it can be that, or something else, or combination. But it seems that in some cases it's like relentless. In some cases it's relentless, not just seems like it's relentless, there's no let up. And if it's not this, it's that. Minimally, there was a question raised. Somebody wrote a letter about kleshagni. In the sadhana stage, according to Madhurya Kandamani, in the sadhana stage, there's 2 leaves with a smooth and a rough side. The smooth side is rag bhakti, and the rough side is the vaidhi sadhana bhakti. But sadhana gives rise to these 2 leaves. And the 2 leaves are kleshagni and shubhadar. So the question was, different from, but similar to this question, why did devotees suffer? Like cancer or something, so marital calamity or something. And it happens. So when that happens, difficulty upon difficulty, and it seems relentless, why and what to do. So we discussed this, but no problem to repeat it because it seems to come up regularly. In principle, those that are not cultivating bhakti, they're under the care of one of Krishna's energies, his external energy. And those that are cultivating bhakti, they don't have to be perfected bhaktas, but cultivating, they're placed under they're under the care of Bhakti Devi, or their Bhakti Devi is influencing their life. That's the internal potency, because Bhakti Devi is an expansion of Radharani. So they're under the care of the internal energy. So if one is under the care of the internal energy, and there's difficulty after difficulty, how to see it? And one way how to see it is Krishna is giving that very fortunate person a special opportunity. Thank you. The special opportunity is an accelerated opportunity to take increased shelter. I mean, there are different subsets of all of that. That is to say, guess what? The material world isn't a nice place. What Krishna said is true. Guess what? What Krishna said is true. Dukhalayam ashashvatam. And if there is something that looks like happiness, ashashvatam, it's impermanent. It's like water on a lotus leaf, and a little trembling of the wind, and the water falls off the lotus leaf back into the pond. It's not, there's no substance, and it's very temporal, ashashvatam. The suffering is ashashvatam, and the happiness is ashashvatam. It's a place of dukhalayam ashashvatam. So it's an opportunity to learn. There's no happiness here. So why try for happiness here? Because there's no happiness here. So difficulty after difficulty, one of the ways to respond is Krishna is giving me an opportunity to realize the truth of life. It's a place of misery. So no, when you're in a place of misery, what are you supposed to do? Misery after misery, difficulty after difficulty, hardship after hardship, reversal, using Prabhupada's words, reversal. Reversal is like you're going this way, then next thing you know, you're going that way. But you're still aiming to go this way, but you're going, head-on collision, you're going backwards. Prabhupada described that sometimes happens in Rath Yatra, in Puri. For some reason, they have all these people pulling the ropes going towards Gundicha, and the cart starts moving backwards. What's going on? Lord Jagannath is having fun. That's what's going on. So, for the persons that are pulling the cart this way, the cart is going that way, it's not happiness. But if they understand that Krishna's having fun, Krishna's enjoying, and it may appear to be at the cost of, the pilgrims that have come for Rath Yatra. They're not having fun, and Krishna's having fun, so that's not fun. But that's the perception. It's not the reality. The reality is Krishna's enjoying. So, if Krishna is enjoying, then what's the problem? That if I undergo some hardship while Krishna is enjoying, what's the problem? The problem is I'm thinking about me, I'm not thinking about Krishna. So therefore, problem after problem is to change the center. An opportunity to change the center. Then comes the yeah, but. Yeah, but. Difficulty after difficulty, and I got to do something with the difficulty. I can't just throw my hands up in the air and say, Kesara Sara, whatever will be, will be. You can do that. You be mindful and responsible, and take steps that are doable steps without excessive endeavor. You do the maintenance as you can. And then whatever is going to be is going to be. So let me take shelter of the permanent instead of the temporary, because the temporary is not a place of happiness. So, in other words, to say the same thing in other ways, it's just Krishna is giving an opportunity to take deeper shelter of him, which is a little bit like the topic that you brought up. Now, I just looked at some of the headlines of, I guess it's his description, Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj's description of two of the classes. And he spoke on many things, not just this particular point. So there's many ways to look at it. I would say, could somebody, if somebody is really interested in this topic, could you see that it gets circulated? They sent you all those different links. Prema Tarangani advised me with those links. So you sent one, she sent 6 or 5 or something. So people really want to know what to do when there's difficulty after difficulty. It's not just at a later stage of life. It can come into some, whatever the stage of life. And how do you deal with difficulties? Crisis of faith. Deeper shelter. That take shelter of the permanent as opposed to the impermanent. And the impermanent, we have no control over. We don't have control over circumstances. We do have control over decisions we make, how we're going to face those decisions. Aside from the Vedic perspective on this, I like very much another resource for the person who asked this question, Viktor Frankl, because his difficulty was out of his control. There was nothing, maintenance thing he could do. He was a Jewish man in a Nazi concentration camp, and daily some of the Jewish people that were in the concentration camp were dragged off to the gas chamber, screaming, and they, in a way that everybody could hear what was going on. And each day, am I next? Terrorizing. They didn't just gas everybody, they terrorized them. So it might, what happens today. Anyway, without all the detail. There's some circumstances, if there are circumstances, you can do something about your circumstances, then do it in a responsible way, not an obsessive way. But some circumstances, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. If there's something you can do something. But that's not the solution anyway. Change the circumstances and suffering stops. That's not life. Because that changes, then something else will come, then something else will come, and something else will come. Because it's a place of suffering. So then where do you turn to? You turn to what Viktor Frankl says. You have your right to choose how you're going to respond to circumstances. That's nothing you can do about. No, for a Vaishnava, or particularly Gaudiya Vaishnava, is you take shelter of Krishna more deeply, more meaningfully, more personally, more, make that connection more vital, vibrant, strong, palpable, and feel it. And it's not easy, but when you're faced with asat, you go to sat. These are fresh questions. I think I should take these. What do you think, Subal? Subal approves. Okay, here's why do I wear saffron? Why did Parshuram go to Yudhishthira's Rajasuya sacrifice if he hated Kshatriyas? Is there any scholars in the room that have an answer to that question? He did not, he hated Kshatriyas. He didn't hate Kshatriyas. There were persons that were violators of Kshatriya Dharma, and those were punishable by him. But it's not like, per se, an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, hate Kshatriyas. So there, stick your tongue out. Oh. Can somebody that knows how to deal with uncontrolled children in a nice way do it one more time? Thank you. When we say that, in our life, everything is meant for Krishna. From Krishna's side, he does not want or need anything from us. Kindly elaborate. What's the exchange between Krishna and us? The answer is simple, it's love. He doesn't need anything, and he asks for things. Patram, pushpam, palam tvayam. I mean, Prabhupada spoke on that many times. But he doesn't need a leaf. And water, he's got an ocean of, ocean of water, in different varieties of water. He doesn't need water, flour. It's not a need, it's an exchange. He's inviting loving reciprocation. And when something is offered with love, he eats, or he accepts. That is, give and take. And then Krishna gives too, but it's a loving exchange. Okay. If you come across a rude devotee, how do you act around them? Well, my answer to a question like this, it depends. And sometimes. Depends on the person, depends on the circumstance, depends on the relationship. Sometimes it's just tolerate. Sometimes you say something. The principle behind how you act, aside from the what, it's the why behind the what. And the why is, we're constitutionally Krishna's servants. So what is the best way for me to be of service to this person, this rude person? And if you're Narada Muni, then you'll know what to do. And if you're not Narada Muni, you can try, but stay in the mood of service. So sometimes you may walk away. Sometimes you may, say, pardon me, you just stepped on my toe and it hurts. Or, you have options to do. But if you say something that's corrective, you don't have to. But you can, you may, and if you do, it may be for the purpose of improving, the consciousness of the other individual, elevating the consciousness of the other individual. Because sometimes people don't even know they're stepping on your toe, or smashing your toe, or hurtful people don't feel, often they don't, like, what did Narada Muni do when he met the hunter? That was an interesting choice. Please don't half kill the animals, kill them completely. Huh? Why? Because they suffer. Really? And so it depends on the person. But the intention behind, the principle of intention behind is to uplift the consciousness. And sometimes the uplifting of consciousness is just walk away. great devotees did like that sometimes. Grandfather Bhishma did like that sometimes. Vidura did like that sometimes. And others, may have done something like that sometimes. So that's an option. If there's something you can do that's sensible, that may or may not have some positive impact on the behavior and the demeanor of the hurtful person, you can try without any expectation. Don't become angry with them if they snarl or ignore or something. Don't have an expectation from something you say or do, but at least the intention behind what you say or do or don't do should be the well-being of the other person. Easier said than done, but that's what to do. Green pens were popular today. Lots of questions in green ink. Okay, we answered this question. Why do people suffer? How do I figure out Is this yours? Or Mom's? Yours? Your question or Mom's? It's yours. No. She's the messenger. Okay. How do I figure out my own set of values for my own life? A very subjective question. In principle, our own values are minus, the direction of Scripture. Our own values are indicated by the modes of nature, or impelled by the modes of nature. So you can tell more what mode of nature you're impelled by knowing Scripture, because your values are going to match the modes of nature, or be under the influence of the modes of nature. So maybe a better way for this question, what my own values are, is how do I to align your values with transcendental values. How to align your values with transcendental values. And that's what Bhagavad Gita is for, or Scripture is for, is to Krishna's, through sound, Krishna giving the means to elevate our values, or align our values to Krishna's values by his instruction, by sound. And until then, our values are going to be skewed a little bit, out of alignment with Krishna's values. So the exercise is the wrong exercise. What are my values? An indication of values is behaviors and speech, because from speech and behaviors arise from values. Now, speech and behaviors can impact values, kind of the other direction, but largely speech and behavior are driven by values. So you can understand your values just by observing the behavior. Like Prabhupada would say that the characteristics of an individual, according to Bhagavad Gita descriptions, you can tell what your values are because of behaviors. And a Vaishya behaves this way, and a Brahmana behaves that way, and a Kshatriya behaves in a different way. And so it's the modes of nature impelling what you do, your words and your speech, words and your actions. I hope it's clear. Where's the little one? I'm reading the question, but it sounds more like a statement than a question. Who did it come from? Is it Sri Vrindavan? This is yours? No. What? I hear 6 voices.
Yeah, I was saying, would that be considered shelter? Would that be considered? Would we still be considered shelter, digging deeper shelter?
I'm lost. I'll do this another time. I don't understand.
My question is, you're saying take deeper shelter. So in practical terms, what would that mean? Would
Okay.
This.
But yeah, it's self-evident. You just the question is, does taking shelter mean the following list of things? The following list of things is standard things. What taking shelter means. So the answer is yes. But then, it's not just a behavior, it's the consciousness behind the behavior. It's taking deeper shelter. Ooh. Does everyone have to do book distribution? Look, if you're a Hare Krishna guy, you got to do book distribution. At least one book, come on. At least one book. You can travel around with somebody that's a book distributor. You can do everything else but book distribution, but they distribute books because you're doing things that inspire people to take the books. But I don't do book distribution. I mean, you're a messenger, each nimitta matram. We're a representative of, we're the instrument of the disciplic succession. And the printed word is just part of our disciplic succession. Words and the printed word is part of our disciplic succession. So we do what our disciplic succession does. Do you have to? You don't have to. But you do, because it's part of our life. Do I have to eat? Do you have to brush my teeth? It's not painful. It's very simple. And what's the result? When books are distributed, what's the result? At least people may take advantage, may not take advantage. They may take the book or not take the book. But at least the opportunity is being presented to people so they can become happy, because they're misguided, lacking proper knowledge and the purpose of life and how to achieve it. Lacking that, they're suffering. So at least giving others an opportunity, along with your own self and how the life that you lead, but giving others the opportunity to not, in ignorance, continue suffering, not knowing purpose of life. Someone's got good handwriting. Can you shed some light on your life before you came in touch with devotees? What was your life like in college? Did you notice any big philosophical dissimilarities between you and others early on? This kind of question is whoever wrote this question, please come to one of our retreats in Gitanagari. Because there's one of the sessions of the retreats in Gitanagari has a cute phrase. It's called "Meet the Monk." And when I hear "Meet the Monk," I'm thinking monkey, like sitting in a cage and meet the monkey, wearing saffron. Because invariably the question comes, how did you get here? How did you become a monk? Like, what was your life like before? And the same thing is being asked here. So I say it so many times. Come to one of our retreats in Gitanagari. It's nice. And then, even if you're an experienced devotee and not a completely new person, you can give some association to the completely new persons and make some friends amongst those that are repeats, and and so on. Become part of the party and expanding Krishna consciousness. How do we explain to people that Krishna is the primeval Lord and not Lord Vishnu? Read the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then you'll be fully equipped to answer that question, or to address such people. I have found that it's not so much the issue is Vishnu supreme versus is Krishna supreme. People don't, it's not common struggle that people have, or doubt that people have. They have other kinds of doubts, but not that particular one. But an answer to the question depends on the person, but an answer to the question can be the Bhagavatam, 1:328, with Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, and take that and expand it. Or a very nice one is, very nice one, people may understand it, not understand it, but it's a nice one, is when Krishna called the gopis, they came, Krishna disappeared, they were searching for Krishna. So in a friendly and humorous way, Krishna manifested a four-armed Narayan form. The gopis came, offered their obeisances to Narayan, asked, have you seen Krishna? Which way did he go? I mean, keeping it simple. So Narayana is the all opulent supreme, and then the Madhurya Krishna is the opulent plus sweetness. So there are features within Krishna that are not within Narayana. The sweetness is in its different categories. It depends on the person, how much they're interested to hear, how knowledgeable they are, how pliable, how open they are to hear something other than their own idea. How you answer that question has to do with the circumstances. I don't have an answer to this question. Maybe somebody has an answer to this question. What's it with the number 108? Why is this auspicious? In Krishna's pastimes and in our beads, and Krishna had 16,108 wives. What's the big deal with 108? Anybody have the answer? 108? I don't have an answer. I should have an answer. I don't. Anyone? Nandimukhi, can you take this as a research assignment? You try to find out what you can find from, the ways that you've tried to find out things. What's the significance of the 108 number? Okay? from a mathematical point of view, she's a math PhD. Give her a microphone.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. I don't know any scripture reference, but just from a number theory point of view, is the number is if you take the prime factorization to the decomposition of that number is 2 to the power of 2 times 3 to the power of 3 equals 108. So it's quite interesting in that sense. It has a certain harmony. Its prime numbers are those numbers that cannot have
Divisions.
decomposed into other factors. And so the next number, is going to be 2 to the power of 2 times 3 to the power of 3 times 5 to the power of 5. That's the next kind of number in that line where just thought.
You have something? You found something?
Yeah, something like
I beg your pardon?
something like something I can share. One devotee shared from Padma Purana significance of 108 in reference to beads of chanting. In that context, 108 beads is referring to 8 Ashtasakis. Is the math calculation, 8 Ashtasakis, and each of the Ashtasakis has 8 servants, maid servants. So 64 of them, 8 plus 64. And then 32 Krishna Sakas, friends of Krishna 32. And then Veera, a personality called Veera, I don't know who that is. Vrinda Devi, Bhagavati.
Okay, enough. Who knows? But still, what does that make it auspicious? You found something?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This I found from a blog by Stephen Knapp.
By whom? Oh, Stephen Knapp, okay.
Yeah, he has an article about 108. He gives several points. One of the point is, some say that 1 stand for God or higher truth, 0 stand for emptiness or completeness in spiritual practice, and 8 stands for infinity or eternity.
Does he give a scriptural reference, or is it just he doesn't give a scriptural reference?
The article heading states further significance of the number 108. Maybe I need to go through the article.
Okay, let's not do that right now. If you find something that has Shastra support, then that's of interest, and otherwise...
Yeah, maybe in this article they could be, but I need to go through. But I've gone through this article a few months back.
Okay. It's 11:35, and I'm feeling the audience has a little brain fatigue. Maybe it's me, but maybe it's the audience. I asked Nityapriya how much time. She said, you have till 1 o'clock. And I don't think 1 o'clock is going to work. Okay, personal question. Why did you think Krishna consciousness was the right religion for you to follow? That's a long story. And a big part of it had to do with process of elimination. This question of how'd you become a monk? the retreat meet a monk question. So a little bit of sharing, and then I think I'm going to end. Although there's more questions. You can put it down, but I'm not going to do it. Skipping the earlier stages of my life, in my college life, I kind of surrendered to what you're supposed to do to be successful. And, you know, everybody knows what being successful means. Academically, socially, and, you know, for boys, it's sports. You do those three things, and you're successful. So I was busy being successful, you know, trying to be successful. And then something happened. I mean, a number of things happened. So I started asking, the big thing that happened was big things that happened. Prabhupada visited the campus where I was a student, and my life changed after that, without the details. Then another thing that happened that was significant was my parents informed me that they were getting draft notices at their home address, at my home address, their home address. I was classified 1A, you know, the draft notice. I was to show up at the draft board and get an army uniform and fly off to Vietnam and be part of the Vietnam War. And, you know, I didn't pay attention to it because I thought it was silly. But then they impressed upon me repeatedly, you got to do something or you'll be in jail. I didn't want to be in jail, but I didn't want to. So then what to do? So someone advised, you know, just starting asking questions is the short answer. I would stop just trying to be busy, being successful, trying to be successful, and started asking, you know, longer-term questions. So the impetus for that was the draft notice. And the suggestion was, go to the Quakers, it's a Christian group, and they were helping students that got drafted to get free from the draft. So I went to the Quakers, and they provided me with a conscientious objector form. I had to get A in exams, so, you know, fill out the form, get an A in the exam, get out of the draft. The first question said something to the effect, state the nature of your belief, state the nature of your convictions, such that you cannot take part in the armed forces of the United States of America. You know, what's your conscientious objector position? So I started to write, but the pen wouldn't move because I knew how to get an A of the exam, but I didn't know what my convictions were. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, like, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be successful, but not know what my convictions are. Something's wrong with that picture. And then I got irritated. I was, you know, college kid, a little feisty. So I thought, I bought into a whole program that's cheating program. Be successful, but don't know who you are. And then with that irritation, then came 99 other questions that I didn't have answers to, because I started asking questions again. I did that when I was young, then I stopped and got busy being successful, trying to be successful. So I did a timeout. I'm putting everything on hold because I don't trust the system. And I want answers, and not somebody's answers. I want my answers. I was angry and unhappy with what I had bought into. So I'm not going to buy into somebody's something. I want answers that satisfy me. Then I started, you ask questions, you go to what's familiar with you, and I didn't find answers with the religious tradition that I grew up with, because the question is, how did I know that I was doing the right thing to be part of this religion? I went to the tradition that I was part of, and there was still the same no answers. And then I started looking at other options, and I was amazed at how many other options there were, because I never even thought about it. And my way of saying it is I felt like a kid in a candy store. Sampling this one, sampling that one, sampling the other one, getting a stomach ache. This isn't the way to go about it, just sampling things. There's got to be some principles behind making a choice or finding a direction. And then several other things happened. One of the things that happened was I was still in undergraduate school. I had a philosophy professor that I developed a friendship with outside of the class. Nice man. And skipping some nice details, very nice man, he gave me a Bhagavad Gita. I didn't know what it was, but I liked him. So I just started carrying it around with all my books, my clipboard and stuff. And another friend said, hey, I have one of those, but it's different than yours. Here, take mine. So now I've got 2 Bhagavad Gitas. And I thought, if there's 2 Bhagavad Gitas, there are probably more. So I went to the library and found there were 5 additional translations of Bhagavad Gita. So I checked out all 5, started reading all 7, and came to a conclusion that the person that gave it to me, I thought it was a book of poetry. It wasn't a book of poetry, because he used to read some of his poetry to me. I was just sharing a book of poetry that he liked. It wasn't a book of poetry, and I don't understand it. So put those pieces together, there's this, I'm searching for what my convictions are. Prabhupada came to our campus, and Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy, it's true. There was no personal exchange with him, but just he's carrying bhakti. And I became infected, in a good sense. I got COVID-19 just by being with somebody that had COVID. I got infected with bhakti. And it started to grow. It's like it was out of control. And there's no antidote. And then Bhagavad Gita, and then somewhere along the way, somebody gave me a Bhagavad Gita as it is. And I read the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and found it was real easy to understand. So I've got this inquisitive, what my convictions are, what's reality with a capital R. And then I had this little kind of slogan. There's 3 things. It's all about inquisitiveness. Brahma Jigyasu. I didn't know that anything. There's a higher reality. I have a certainty. There's a higher reality, number 1. 2, I don't know what it is. It's good to know that you don't know. And then the 3rd is, I want to know. That was it. Searching, Brahma Jigyasu. And the tradition that I grew up in didn't have answers. At least I didn't find them. Maybe somebody had them, but I didn't find them. And then here's somebody with some answers, Prabhupada, and Bhagavad Gita as it is. So, one thing led to the next thing, led to the next thing, led to the next thing, so just by asking, I learned a lesson. You ask questions, and there are answers. Search and you shall find. Don't search and you won't even see anything. But ask questions. like fundamental questions, the ones that are really hard to answer, like what are my convictions, who am I, where did I come from, what's it all about, those kind of things. You may not have an immediate answer, that's okay. Ask the questions anyways. And my experience was, by asking the question, all of a sudden there's a door that I didn't even see before. Maybe there even wasn't a door there before, but there's a door. And I was inquisitive, so I went through the door, and on the other side of the door, there's this whole other thing on the other side of the door. And then there's a whole other set of doors, and you just keep going and going. You know, it's a big adventure. Adventure's fun. It's like, you know, uncomfortable in one sense, but lots of fun in another sense. And there was a purpose. I want to know what this higher reality is. So the question was, how did I get to the stage of knowing that I was doing the right thing by taking Krishna consciousness? And it's the process of elimination. That's how I started, by saying, you know, so I tried this and tried that and tried the other thing. With this skip, without all the details and details, mantra meditation made a lot of sense, and I found it very effective. Here's the detail. One of the things one of the doors that opened was in the senior year of my undergraduate study, I found myself living in a farmhouse with 9 other people that didn't even know each other before the senior year of college. You know, outside the city. And somebody was into this, and somebody was into that, and somebody was into... One of the persons was into macrobiotics. It was very popular at the time. And somebody else was into Krishna consciousness, so we offered our macrobiotic food to Krishna. There was another person that was into Zen Buddhism. So we went to Rochester, which was not far from where I went to school, and visited the Philip Kaplow's ashram, Zen ashram. That was popular at the time. So we set up a little zendo in the farmhouse. And every morning, for 2 hours before the sun came up, I was doing zazen for like months. And so why I didn't choose that, because I found A and B. It was very effective. And this B is, as soon as I stopped, then everything dissipated, because it was completely unnatural. It was effective, but it wasn't really who I am. And I wanted to know, who am I? In other words, focus, you know, there's a technique and it works. But then as soon as you stop the technique, then everything became fuzzy again. The focus just went away. To me, it meant it's unnatural. I want something that's me, not just imposed something that's powerful, but it's not me. So I want that consciousness always, not just so. Therefore, sound, and then different mantras and da 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 da. And Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and Bhaktisiddhanta had a big part to play. He helped me a lot through sound, through his, not his association, this earlier question about when you don't have, you know, read Bhaktisiddhanta's books and something happens. You get moved to another place. That place I found from reading one of his articles in the Back to Godhead magazine. So all the puzzle pieces started fit together, and then Krishna gave some experience without the detail of some experience, and there was that higher place of consciousness that I was looking for through the medium of chanting Hare Krishna and studying Bhagavad Gita. So, in short, by process of elimination. So then the position was, let me try it out. Jump in the pool and swim around for a while, see what it's like. And the pool was a Hare Krishna temple. You know, an ashram, because that was fashionable at the time. Lots of things were fashionable during that period of time. Communes was popular. People living with nature and sharing things, and there was an very explosive experimental time. So Boston was the place because during my undergraduate days I visited Boston to see about possible graduate school. When I went to Boston to see about possible graduate schools, I visited the Boston Temple. Another door was the place where I stayed when visiting Boston was in a loft. That was like a cool thing that people would do sometimes. They had this big space that was kind of like in a rundown neighborhood, so they called it a loft. So I was given a back room, and on the windowsill was little Jagannath. Those little carved Jagannaths, those little guys. And I knew who they were. So I thought, sign, I should go to the temple. I hadn't been to the temple, so I went to the temple. And when I went to the temple, it was a festival day. It's just doors were opening and opening and opening, and Krishna was saying yes. So when it came to plunging into the pool, that was the Boston Temple. Let me try it out. I wasn't like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Let me just go swim around for a while and see what it's like. Experimental. I really liked. And no regrets, no turning back. So that's a long, reasonably lengthy answer, and it's now 8 minutes before 12, and Arati is going to happen shortly, I think. What's the deity schedule? One voice. Who knows? That's 5 voices. One voice. What time? 12:30. Okay, thank you. You're the voice, thank you. So I'd like to end on a happy note, although there's a basket that has more questions. I think I'm going to move on to other things and allow you to move on to other things. What? What? Am I supposed to do something? There's some gifts, I'm supposed to open some gifts. That's it? Is that it? That's, okay. Sachi Kumar and Prema Tarangati. You recognize this one? You came from Vrindavan. Is it from Vrindavan? It's a book. We have everybody in suspense, myself included. A saffron bead bag of all things. There's a note. You want me to read the note? Maha bead bag made from Srila Prabhupada Dhoti worn into Samadhi Mandir in Vrindavan. Kijai. How'd you swing this? You have people. Connections. Prabhupada Dhoti. The Brahmin thread that I'm wearing was worn by Radha Madhava in Houston. Because he's very tall, and they change his Brahmin thread once a month. So, the temple president is my disciple. So now I have Prabhupada's dhoti for my bead bag. And the book. healing, it's stuck. Healing prayers. Reflections on Queen Kunti's prayers. Bhaktivigyan Goswami, personally signed by him. Healing prayers, reflection on Queen Kunti's prayers. Tulsi books. Forward by Giriraj Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, Sachinanda Maharaj, by Sheshika Das. I just have to have some more time to do all the things that I want to do. You want to take this?
Naveen Krishna Prabhu, Janavan Prabhu, and Shankadhara Prabhu family.
Naveen Krishna, Janavan, and Shankadari. But they all went back to Virginia. Something from ISKCON Calcutta. There's a trick to this? You figured out the trick. Oh, okay, I see what it is. This is Prabhupada, in some kind of metal, Prabhupada Murti, and then there's like an altar where Prabhupada sits on his altar from the birthplace of His Divine Grace. Now, Vaisheshika Prabhu and Indradumna Maharaj, and maybe there were some others, were at the birthplace of Chaitanya, birthplace of Srila Prabhupada. They took, there's a youth yatra. What's it called again? Global Youth Yatra. Thank you. So, I got some photographs of the place with Indradumna Swami paying us obeisances before the place where Prabhupada first met Bhaktisiddhanta and so forth. So there's like a group of people. Vaisheshika Prabhu was taking youth on a global tour. One of the places they went was the boat dock that left Calcutta to heading for Bombay, they headed for the US. So they visited that place. They visited the birthplace. They visited the place where Prabhupada met first Bhaktisiddhanta. So Prabhurupa's daughter sent a whole bunch of photos and some videos of those places. So that's why I recognize. Venu Madhurya, Manjira and family, Gopal and Prahlad. How many of these are there? Looks like socks. It sucks. Winter socks. Heavy duty crew winter socks. The best winter socks ever. 8 pairs, I just need more feet.
Shamita, Ramesh Prabhu's daughter.
Ramesh Prabhu's daughter. Is he here? Is she here? Are either of them here? Ramesh? No. The big box. Kitchenware. Okay. Electric kettle. Okay.
Surabhi Mataji.
China.
This is Surabhi Chanchal.
Oh, okay, okay. Somebody's painting of Lord Chaitanya, looks like.
Shri Padma Manjari Mataji and family.
Padma Manjari. I'm afraid I'm going to cut something I shouldn't be cutting. A postage stamp of Bhaktisiddhanta. A commemorative coin with Bhaktisiddhanta on it. So it's a box inside a box inside a box. A commemorative coin. Oh, there it is. Okay. Bhaktisiddhanta commemorative coin. India government mint. So it's actual currency with Bhaktisiddhanta's imprint on it. Okay. Last one, right?
Krishna Prema Prabhu and Sumangali Mataji.
Okay. Last but not least. Portable charger with everything built in. Somebody needs to carry my suitcase. Built-in wall prongs, built-in USB-C lighting cable, 90 hours of power, charge all your favorite devices. Probably useful, but I have, I don't know what to do. Okay, that's it.
Children's
What?
Children's drawings are there.
Okay. So there are some devotees that came from faraway places, and they already went back to those faraway places. And some devotees are local, and some devotees are going tomorrow. And for those of you that have come, from wherever you've come, thank you for participating. I was appreciating Daya Sindhu and how he was squirming, hearing two people appreciate him in ways that he wasn't expecting to be appreciated. It's not easy to just sit here and have people say nice things about you. Maybe someday you'll have the good opportunity to feel the same, like, the solace is it's a service. It's not about the person. It's not about me. It's about rendering service. And for service-minded persons, that's the only way to process all of this. It's beneficial for the persons who are doing. I mean, so here's a nice Prabhupada example, Prabhupada story example. When Prabhupada came to America, as you all know, he had 14 rupees. And you can't even, at least in those days, I don't know if it's what you can do these days, but you can't, there's no foreign currency exchange for 14 rupees. It was like nothing. He came with nothing. And he lived for some period of time having nothing. He had his first canto, three parts to Srimad Bhagavatam. And when some persons gave contributions for the book, and that, was how he maintained himself, but he maintained himself at the mercy of uncivilized people, largely. And however Krishna maintained him. And then gradually, so he knew how to live with nothing, or next to nothing, just bare necessities. Like, this little interview with what's her name? The lady that gave Srila Prabhupada passage on the steamship, the cargo ship, Surat Samarthi Mararji. She's, interviewed later, she said, I told Swamiji, why are you going there? It's too cold. How are you going to tolerate the cold? You're used to warm. And so he was tolerating having nothing and being in a strange land and, no values and, etc., etc., etc. Then eventually, by Krishna's arrangement, he had something, and then the something became more something, and then in the course of time it became the Hare Krishna movement. And there's a very nice interview. It was a recorded interview from a newspaper, New York Post or something like that. Swamiji, I was at the airport at LaGuardia when you came, and your followers came and picked you up in a big limousine. And I thought, you're a Swami and you're supposed to be renounced, and so can you explain to us how you came in a big limousine? Not skipping a beat. Immediately Prabhupada said it wasn't good enough, it should have been a gold car. The man didn't know what to say. But it wasn't like he wanted a gold car. It was a service. It's good for the disciples to offer something to their spiritual master that is like honoring Krishna himself. What's good enough for Krishna? Krishna doesn't need anything. Prabhupada didn't need anything from us. But it was good for us to give something that's nice. So he accepted. And then largely, he gave things away. I was told, I don't know for fact, But often people would give him watches, a Rolex watch, and this watch, and he'd accept it, put it on, then the next day turn around and give it to somebody. It didn't stick. He accepted the service, but it wasn't him. It was a service as the link unto Krishna that he was performing on behalf of his disciples. Instructing them, when they come to the temple, bring a flower and a candle, so they could offer a candle, a lamp, to the deity in the temple after they installed the deity. So just training them, just simple, 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 and then it became more formal, etc., etc. But just everything is meant for Krishna's service, and it wasn't sticking to him. It was the guru function, training. This is drama time? That's what's going on? Yes? Yes? Okay. Okay. So I will stop. Amara, you're on. You got the floor. So just I'll end saying, you can only imagine somebody that has lived their life as a brahmachari, then sannyasi, to have gifts and fanfare and accolades and this and that. It's like not easy. But it's easy in the sense that it's just a service. And when from the position of service, then it's okay. Even as it can be uncomfortable, it's okay. It's okay, because the purpose of Vyasa Puja and the purpose of the Vyasa Puja book and all the services that so many devotees did to make this thing happen. It's just an opportunity to render some service. So it's good for the devotees. So that's my message and how I'm processing all of what just it took place. And thank you all coming from faraway places, some of you from very faraway places. Safe journey going back to where you came from, or wherever the next station is. And for those of you around tonight, we'll see you tonight. It's going to be different because tonight is the Temple Sunday Feast. So it's a different topic. It's going to be a Bhagavad Gita topic. 101. Very nice. Very simple. Amara, you want a microphone?
Yes. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, devotees. I'll just make some housekeeping and announcements and closing remarks before we turn over to the drama team. Some housekeeping items. We had a request from an anonymous donor who sponsored this morning's breakfast, and they are requesting for prayers for their departed family member, so please keep that in mind. We have a lost iPhone and a lost earring. Please collect it from Nitya Priya before you leave.
Lost iPhone. Really?
And lost earring, yes. Yeah.
Earrings too.
Yeah. And after this event, we need about 5 or 6 volunteers in the kitchen for the Maha cleanup of the pots and the kitchen. So please, enjoy the prasadam, and if you have time, please head over to the kitchen hall, and Ganga Narayan Prabhu will help you in leading in that service. We're just on behalf of the organizing team, we're very grateful to Maharaj for connecting all of us to Krishna. Thank you for your unwavering and consistent dedication and service for so many decades to Srila Prabhupada. In this process, you began nurturing a few individuals, that turned into communities, that turned into centers, temples, generations of devotees, and it keeps going. So thank you for your visionary mindset, Maharaj. Putting in an event like this requires the help and encouragement of many devotees. So I won't take everyone's name, but I just want to call out some key critical teams that really helped in putting this together. The teams in charge of serving delicious prasadam this entire weekend, the cooking teams, the massive cake baking team, meal setup, meal serve out, cleaning, kitchen and pot washing, vegetable cut up. The teams that were tasked to create a very festive atmosphere for this occasion. The deity dressing team, garlands team, vases and temple decor. The teams for making this event run smoothly, our technology team, our MCs, our photography and videography teams, event fundraising, our temple president, Premananda Mataji, for opening this temple up for this event, our, what I would call the last minute devotee team that did a bunch of last minute tasks, like buying materials for our yagya, baking 400 cookies within 24 hours of notice, arranging accommodations. A huge thank you to Nitin Prabhu and Himangi Mataji, who are our pillars of support and guides in an event like this. It's impossible to not have their support and to do an event like this. Our parents who watched our toddlers through this entire weekend, we couldn't have done this event without them watching our toddlers. But with all that said, let's turn our attention to that side. The Amara Mataji's team will be setting up the drama there. And while setup is happening, Sundari Radha will lead us into Kirtan. Just 5 or 10 minutes of Kirtan while the team is setting up. And after that, please head downstairs for prasadam. We'll see you all next year. Haribol.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hello? Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Next we are presenting the drama Transformation of a Cruel Hunter through Mercy, Compassion and Association of Srila Narada Muni. We offer this at lotus feet of Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Srila Rompa Swami Maharaj. Thank you.
ब्रह्मांड भ्रमिते को न भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसादे पाए भक्ति लता बीज
With the pure devotee. Once, the great Saint Narada, after visiting Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha, went to Prayag to bathe at the confluence of three rivers, the Ganges, Yamuna, and Saraswati. Narada Muni saw a deer was lying on the path through the forest, and it was pierced by an arrow. It had broken legs and was twisting due to much pain. Farther ahead, Narada Muni saw a boar pierced by an arrow, and then he saw a rabbit that was also suffering. Due to deep compassion, Narada Muni was greatly pained at heart to see living entities suffering.
I would kill someone for making my prey flee away, but due to your saintly appearance, I am reluctant. Oh, Goswami, why have you come here? See, because of you, The animals that I was hunting have now fled away.
Oh, hunter, I have come your way to settle a doubt in my mind. I believe these animals belong to you. I wonder, why have you not killed them completely? Why have you left them suffering, half dead, arrows piercing their bodies?
My name is Mrgari, the enemy of animals. My father taught me to kill them in this way. When I see half-killed animals suffering, it brings me great pleasure.
Oh, I beg of you just one thing.
What? Do you want skin? I have deer skin, tiger skin, whichever you want.
No, I do not want any of your skins. I beg one thing of you in charity. I beg that you kill these animals completely and do not leave them half dead and suffering.
What? What's wrong in half killing these animals? Please, explain it to me.
If you kill these animals halfway and purposely leave them suffering, you will suffer great reactions. Killing animals is your business, which is slightly offensive on your part. But if you purposely leave them in pain, you will incur great sins. These animals will kill you, one after the other, life after life.
Oh, Goswami, I have been in this business since my very childhood. That means that I must have done an unlimited amount of sinful activities. Oh, Goswami, I fall at your feet. Please tell me how I can be relieved from my sinful activities. Please, Goswami, please.
If you follow my instructions, then I shall find a way for your liberation.
I will do whatever you say.
First, break your bow. Then I shall tell you what to do next.
What? If I break my bow, how will I maintain myself?
Do not worry. The Supreme Personality of Godhead maintains every living being in the universe. Just depend on the Lord. I shall ensure that you have enough food for your maintenance. Just go home and distribute everything you have to the devotees and the brahmanas. After you go home, you and your wife leave home and bring back just one item of clothing. I shall then ensure that you have enough food, milk, vegetables, and fruit for your maintenance. I shall end your suffering, my friend. I shall free you of your misery. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Mrgari's life was transformed from that moment. After he returned home, he followed the instructions of his spiritual master, Narada Muni. He left home and grew a tulsi plant by the bank of the river and continuously chanted the Supreme Lord's holy names. The news that the cruel hunter had become a peaceful devotee of Krishna spread all over the area. Indeed, all the local villagers brought alms and presented them to Mrgari.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
O saintly Vaishnava, please accept this prasadam.
Thank
Thank you, my dear friends, but this is more than enough for just one day. I will take a little. Kindly take the rest back. Hare Krishna. This is all by the mercy of my Guru Maharaj, Narada Muni. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. My dear friend Parvatuni, will you come with me to see my disciple Mrigari?
Definitely. Let us go and see how Mrigari is doing.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. My Guru Maharaj is coming! My Guru Maharaj is coming! Guru Maharaj! Guru Maharaj! My dear Mrigari, what are you doing? Oh, Guru Maharaj, I am whisking away these poor ants so they don't get trampled under my feet. This behavior is not at all astonishing. Once you engage in devotional service, you become automatically non-violent. He is the best of gentlemen. Come, Guru Maharaj, please sit.
My dear friend Narada Muni, certainly you are a touchstone. You are glorified as a sage among the demigods. By your mercy, even a low-born, cruel hunter can immediately become attached to Lord Krishna.
Oh, Mrigari, do you have sufficient income for your maintenance? Because of your mercy, Guru Maharaj, I have more than sufficient. I just need enough for the two of us. You are fortunate, O Vaishnava, that you are satisfied and happily engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Always stay like this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Thank you, drama team, Amar Mataji and everyone. That was a wonderful drama. Now we can all head downstairs for the final feast of this event. Hare Krishna, everyone.